how to use Instagram stories, and hopefully this video will work. So I know a few of you have been wanting to try stories and are not quite sure how to do that, so you can have a look at my messy iPhone here. So I'm just going to show you how to, so obviously it's in Instagram, so stories are a way to have a snapshot into people's lives. So you can see at the top here, the bit that's moving, that's all the people's stories of the people that I follow and engage with. And normally the people that you engage with more, if they've kept their stories up to date, will be earlier on in your feed, but that's not always the case. As you see, the second one, I don't actually know who that is. There, I do watch Alison's a lot, so that's why that's up there. But it is also the frequency at which people do stories, obviously, and they have that. So you see the yellow gold kind of circle around Alison's and Harriet's there, and Kate's. It shows that they've got up to date current stories going on. So that sort of magic ring also will enable you to be found more in the Discover, the Explore tab rather, which is this bit at the bottom here. So it suggests things that you might like to watch. And if you keep your stories up to date, then you're more likely to be featured here and get more people to come and follow you. So let's just go back to my feed. So you can do stories. They can take many different forms. You could just do text stories. So we'll go through. I don't know what I've done today. So I just did a picture. That's my stories for today. The picture, another picture that I've done overlays on. Me talking to camera. I'll just get rid of because it's, and then 3 of me talking to camera. So if you go into Alison, she's done pictures, and we can go through. So you can see a whole big array of, some people have, videos, and some people just put pictures on. And it really is just a glimpse into people's lives, and people love it because it's really giving you that glimpse into their life and allowing you to develop that know, like and trust factor with people, which is so important. So if you wanted to, you press the person to find the, to get into their stories, and then you can just literally tap the picture and that will go through their stories. You can't go back unless you go right to the end, and then you can go back again. Otherwise it'll just, like mine will just, if I carried on letting it go, it'll just go off, or it'll go to the next person. So we can see here, if you wanted to put a story up there, you click the camera at the top there where I've just clicked, and then obviously that's now shooting my, which is so bizarre, that's shooting the camera into the camera. But you can then press at the bottom, you can see there is where my finger is, above my finger. That's your camera roll right in there, okay? So if you pressed that, that would bring up your camera roll, and that brings up things within the last 24 hours. I'll show you a trick before we get further on. So you can scroll through your camera roll and see the things that are within the last 24 hours. Now that is videos or pictures, so you can pull videos into stories. So you see that's what I did this morning. I just took a screenshot of my Instagram and put it on as my story. If you don't want it anymore, there's a cross right at the top, so you just cross out of it. And if you did want that to go into your story, you would highlight it and you would press the next, or the arrow at the top, depending on what shows up. I think it's next here. Or add to your story, the little cross at the bottom, you can barely see, but just above here. So you can save, there's a bit here you can't really see very well because it's white, but it says save. So if you wanted to take a video, save it and use it somewhere else, just click save first and then click add to your story, and that will drop it straight into your story. If you click next, it brings up the option to either drop it to your story or send it to people individually. So you don't really want to do that unless you want to do it particularly, but I don't. So there's an example of just a plain picture that I dropped in because I just wanted to put something on stories, and I thought it was a great picture, to be honest, and I'm fed up of Instagram in general. Well, I love stories, but I'm fed up with Instagram. So that shows you how to just do the basics now. So that is how to get them from your camera roll. If you wanted to use a picture that wasn't in the last 24 hours, if you go into that this app here. It's called Meta Remove. So if you go into that, and what that does is it enables you to pull up any picture that you've had however long ago and take off the metadata. So let's just pull off, say I want a thing, the Camp Festival thing, and then I can go in and I could, you know, do the process on there, clear metadata, and then processing finished. Okay, then if I go back into Instagram stories, so let me go back into stories, and then I go into my story, and then I go into the bottom, and look, that picture's there. So it enables you to use pictures that aren't within the last 24 hours, which is really, really cool. And so if we were going to use this one, say, because it's quite a good background colour to show you how to do things. The first one is a link up. Now you need 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 followers or more to use the link. And all the link does is, it's, you know, you see people say swipe up for more information. So it enables you to put a link onto that page, and you can put any link you want. But obviously, if you've not got 10,000, you have to just make do. So you can either use, click on that to get various different pictures. So you can do that, and that geotags. So if I wanted to geotag, and then I can just pinch and move, okay, that obviously isn't relevant, but, and then I could use that and actually change the hashtag. So whatever, blah is my hashtag, and it brings you up the suggestions. So, you know, we'll do that, that's fine. And then I might want to do, obviously I would be more creative, I might want to say it's 31 degrees. If I tapped it, it gives me different options. So if I tap all of them, it gives me different colour options. And you can be creative with your, you know, background. So what some people do is things like use that, but pull it out more, and then they might decide, actually, I just want that works for me to have like some banner, and then I can write on top of that. So say, this obviously isn't what you do for this picture, but it's just to show you that sometimes, I've seen it with the rainbow one, and then if you click the text, you can write blah again, and then done, and then you can grab that text and pull it over the top. So it just shows you how you can, you know, use different elements of things to build up your stories and be creative. Again, if you tap it and you said you didn't want that colour, you can make it bigger and smaller by that at the side, but obviously most people just, I guess, would just pinch. We're more, you know, attuned to pinching, aren't we, than anything else. And there's obviously random ones. I don't think I've ever used those in my life. What else have we got in here? The time might be relevant if you're doing a day, you know, day in the life of, you can use that. If there's anything you don't want, just keep your finger on it, and then the bin will come up, and you can just drop it in the bin. So, you know, we don't really want all that. If you want to have that background, all I did was touched it and then pressed that there. So you can make it go different colours, you can make it have that background, so it gives you more flexibility. Another way you can do that is to, let's get rid of that too, is to get rid of all of these, is to just do tap, so you tap the pen, then you tap the big fat marker, then you pick a colour, and then you scribble, and then you write on it, change the colour, pinch it up, drag it over, and that gives you another option. So that's basically all the things at the top there that you need to know. So if you add that into stories, you just save it there if you wanted to save it, and then you could tap the add to story. Obviously I don't want to do that. If you tapped the next, it would say you could either add it to your story, or you could send it to any pods or any, you know, people that you follow. So I obviously don't want to do that because they'll think, what crazy person you are. Another thing, so you could basically add, I want to discard, you can basically add whatever's in your camera roll, whatever you've put in your camera roll or refreshed into your camera roll by using the Meta Remove app, which is free, or you can decide to do something else. So you could do something that I found recently, and that is an app called Legend. Let me find it there. So how cool is this? So this is an app called Legend. So what you can do to start with is you can pull up a picture by tapping the picture icon. So you can use my picture. So you can go and drag any picture you'd like and move it around or whatever, and then choose a picture. And then you can say whatever it is. Ooh. And then you choose next, and then it gives you a variety of options. So you can see what works best for you. Let's have a look. But that's pretty, it's pretty cool. The options are really quite funky. So whatever you decide to choose. And then you can go into that and it shows you what it's going to be. Then you can change, it changes the filter and it changes the text. So you can play around with that. I look half cut on that picture. So you can think, okay, well maybe that's what I want. And if that is what you want, you don't have to share it. That will share it straight to Instagram, I believe, okay, if you click that button here. So if you go over here and click this icon here, it will bring you up the ability, just saving it, to just save the video. Okay, success. And then if you go into Instagram stories again, oh look, it's there. So if we go see here, and we click on that, and then it's right there. And it will make the picture, it sort of snips off a bit of the picture, which is a bit of a the only thing, depending on how wide the picture is. But you can just drop that into your stories. And I'll just drop it in because... So when you've put something onto stories, say you've got a picture and you want to, you can pop your, as I said before, you can pop your hashtags in. Might be, I don't know, festival, whatever. And it's brought in, festival fashion. Then you can add in hashtags just by typing them. Festival chic, I don't even know if that is it. Oh, it's not even a... That's what happens, festival makeup, whatever. And you can, you can either leave them on your picture, or if you wanted to make them, say maybe, and they just blend into the background or whatever, so people don't, see them. So you've got to be a bit careful on trying to squidge them in. You can also do that so that they're on your picture, but they're not really obviously sort of hashtagged, whatever other hashtags you want to add on. Spam emails coming in left, right and centre. So you can tag them in, thing to say, but I do them in the moment. I'm not always thinking about the right hashtag or whatever. So I don't. I'm more likely to geotag than I am to hashtag. And geotag's what we did before, which is when we just go into, I'll just move this out of the way. See, so you can also do that. So you can also, not that you'd want to, hang on a sec. You can also just write with your own finger. It's almost my signature. And then you can undo bit by bit, or you can add in, you might choose to do whatever, So you could do that and then write over the top of it or whatever. Again, not that you would, but you're more artistic than that, I'm sure. So that's just to show you that you can, so the geotag is what I did before, which was this geographical tag, so it brings up wherever you are. And you do notice, obviously, you don't always want people to know where you are from a sort of safety point of view. But if you're at Camp Festival, like we were here, that you can tag it, and then you get found more on that Explore tab again, and which is obviously much down here. You'll be found, and if someone's typing in that hashtag Camp Festival, you would be found that way, just as you would in the normal Instagram feed. That's the word. So that's pretty much stories. As you can use still images, fixed images. You can go and create a boomerang in Instagram stories, but then not send it. So that's what I was doing before when I was clicking on the video. So you can do this boomerang, and then instead of, say you're just taking it then, and instead of then sending it to your story by pressing on here, just save it, and then it will go onto your camera roll, and then you can do something else with it. So maybe you want to then put it in that, my dog's barking, that legend app that we had up earlier, and then maybe you want to put text overlay on it, and then you want to save it to your camera roll and put it back into stories. It sounds quite elaborate, but it actually only takes a couple of minutes, and just means that you can have something that you've actually taken in stories, that boomerang, which you can put a text overlay on it, but you've actually, oh, we don't want to say Facebook, do we? But we've actually then decided to put some fancier overlay through that different app on it, and we've done something a bit more different with it, a bit. And I did quite a lot of those at Camp Festival, and lots of people asked me how I did it. So and it's just a bit of fun. I mean, these ones are just fun, aren't they? You could change that for a head if you so desired. But there's lots of options. I mean, I always think there should be more here than there is. But say if you did that, you can just, if you just click it, it will just change the whatever colour options you have. And then, ooh, so bin it if you don't want it. And there you go. So there's a quick run through of how to do Instagram stories. Now I hope that's helped, and if you have any questions, let me know.